So I remember being one of the students that some of us talked about, one of the young people that folks are talking about. A low-income Black boy experiencing homelessness, experiencing housing insecurity, experiencing school push-out, and navigating public education. I remember going to school and very rarely seeing myself in the curriculum unless it was slavery or civil rights. I remember my behavior, right, and the way in which the schools labeled me, going from loud and exuberant to disruptive to a bad kid and ultimately a criminal. I remember when I was 10 years old, my sixth grade teacher picked me up by my shirt and threw me into the wall because he thought I was talking too much in class. I remember when I was 12 years old, after a basketball game, I watched a basketball game at the high school, being taken home in a police car because I was being too loud. I remember calling out racism and injustice over and over again and not being heard and not having any power to do anything about it. And then by the time I was in high school, at 13 years old, I had already experienced living in group homes. I had experienced being incarcerated in a juvenile detention center. And I went to my freshman year of high school on probation. I went to a school that had a school resource officer, school police officer, and a probation officer, but very little access to counseling. But I also remember being one of the lucky ones, one of the few Black low-income boys like myself to get support, to have mentors and folks who cared about me and poured into me, unlike so many of my friends who were pushed into the school to prison and poverty pipeline. My name is Joseph Williams, and I'm the executive director of Students Deserve. Yeah. And now I get to work with young people who have experienced things just like I experienced. But instead, I get to support young people to use their voices and to build the power to change the schools and the systems that they're experiencing. Like Marche, who is here today, joined Students Deserve when she was a sophomore in high school after experiencing a random search where school administrator and school police took her hand sanitizer and said, I know what you're going to do with this. You're going to sniff this to get high. I know your type. And that led Marche to question who she was. But it also led Marche to get connected to Students Deserve and get connected to a movement of young people who are organizing and using their voices and experiences to transform and end those systems of harm for young people. Marche graduated high school in 2019. And as she was graduating, she and her comrades, other young people, actually fought and won an end to daily random searches in LA Unified. Marche now works on staff with us at Students Deserve, and she's stayed involved since her own graduation and mentored a generation of young people, youth leaders and organizers and activists who have built on the work that Marche started to divest from school police $25 million. Come on. To remove school police from campuses, permanent on-campus posts, to ban the use of pepper spray by school police against students, and to reinvest the funds that were taken from school police into the Black Student Achievement Plan, which brings resources like restorative justice counselors, academic and career counselors, community-based safety officers, school climate advocates, and a host of other resources, including African American and ethnic studies, to the schools and the students that need them the most. Now, Marche's little sister is going to graduate this year from that same high school that Marche went to. She's went to the school for the last few years without school police on campus, without random searches, without police pepper spraying students, but with counselors on campus, restorative justice teachers on campus, African American studies and ethnic studies courses, truly a transformed educational experience. Unfortunately, folks want to remove and rip away all of those victories. The right-wing authoritarian attacks against public education and efforts to undo DEI programs are heightening right now. And the federal government is literally investigating wins that Marche and other student leaders have won to transform public education in Los Angeles Unified, the second largest school district in the country. We're inviting you today to join us to join Marche, to join the many student leaders who are fighting to protect their victories and continue to transform public education so that we can fight for and win the schools that Black youth and ultimately all students deserve. Thank you.